for the fans. The glory for the pinstripes.
Brian Cashman is doing exactly what he told us he was going to do, and honestly, nobody should be acting shocked by these sneaky little moves happening while we are all sitting here refreshing our feeds every 5 seconds waiting for the bombshell news about Cody Bellinger or that massive trade that is supposed to fix the rotation. The cold, hard reality is that the Yankees are desperate for depth, and that specific thing we have been blatantly missing for the last 2 years when the injuries started piling up like trash on the sidewalk. And that is exactly what the front office is attacking right now with these minor league signings that just got confirmed. We are talking about the arrival of right-hander Adam Kloffenstein and catcher Peyton Henry. And before you roll your eyes thinking this moves the needle exactly 0 inches, Kloffenstein's deal includes an invite to big league spring training, which signals that Matt Blake saw something in the kid that he likes. Let's be real about who this guy is, because his resume in the MLB consists of exactly one single perfect inning of relief work for the St. Louis Cardinals in a win over the Giants on June 20th, 2024, just 5 days before what was his 23rd birthday. He is young, only 25 years old, and was a third-round draft pick back in 2018 by the Toronto Blue Jays, so there is pedigree and raw talent there. What catches my eye, and should catch yours too, is what went down in AAA last season, because the numbers tell a story of a pitcher who has the stuff to make hitters miss, but who has absolutely no clue where the ball is going to end up when it leaves his hand. He had an earned run average, the famous ERA, of 5.66 in 18 starts and 21 total appearances, which is ugly, but he managed 103 strikeouts in nearly 91 innings pitched. That is a lot of strikeouts for a guy who was struggling to stay on the mound. The problem is he walks way too many guys, and when you put people on base for free, you are going to pay the price. And that is what St. Louis saw when they decided not to tender him a contract. But we know how this tune plays out here in the Bronx. The Yankees love grabbing these guys with interesting spin rates or specific physical traits and throwing them into our pitching lab to see if a miracle pops out. If he can manage to control the strike zone, he becomes a valuable option to eat innings when the starting rotation needs a breather or in blowout games. And considering he is a low-risk project, I get the logic, even if it isn't the signing that is going to make us buy his jersey at the team store tomorrow. It is a bet on the technical competence of our coaching staff, plain and simple. And if it works, Cashman looks like a genius. If it doesn't, he's just another name who passed through Scranton and got forgotten. Moving over to the other side of the battery, the situation with Peyton Henry is a little more complex and tells us a lot about what the front office is looking for to balance the offense, because everybody knows we are way too heavy with left-handed hitters, and we need someone who bats from the right side to give us some breathing room. Henry hasn't stepped on a big league field since he appeared in 20 games with the Marlins between 2021 and 2022, and he has spent the last 3 years bouncing around the farm systems of the Brewers, Blue Jays, and Phillies without getting another shot at the show. His 2024 season was short, limited to 27 games with AAA Buffalo after a scary incident where he got hit in the head by an opposing hitter's backswing, which knocked him out of action for 3 months on the injured list. You have to respect the guy's guts for getting back behind home plate after a hit like that. It shows the kind of mental toughness we value, but the technical side worries me a lot. He reminds me way too much of that frustrating experiment with Alex Jackson, where the defense was acceptable, but the bat was basically a black hole in the lineup. Hey, since we are talking about roster moves, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications, because as soon as the big trade drops, you are going to be the first one to get the full breakdown right here. For his career, Henry has a batting average of .198 and an OPS of .523, which doesn't inspire any confidence that he can be a real offensive threat at the MLB level. The Yankees have this clear philosophy that if you can't frame pitches, you don't play, but they also can't afford to have an automatic out in the lineup, especially when Austin Wells needs a rest. The market has better options, sure, but they cost money that Hal Steinbrenner might not want to spend on a backup. JT Realmuto would be the dream, but he would cost around $13 million a year, and I highly doubt we see that move. There is Mitch Garver, who would bring power, or Jonah Heim, who is a switch hitter. But for now, it looks like we are going to have to settle for minor league lottery tickets and pray that Austin Wells has an Iron Man season. And please don't even start in the comments with that talk about bringing Gary Sanchez back. That ship sailed a long time ago, and we need reliable defense, not nostalgia that costs us games. At the end of the day, these moves are just the floor of the house being built, the foundation, but we are still waiting for the ceiling to be raised with Cody Bellinger or a trade for Edward Cabrera, because without that, we know we aren't reaching November with the trophy in hand. I want to hear from you guys now, straight up. Do you think it is worth dropping heavy cash on a veteran backup catcher like Realmuto, or should we trust the farm kids and these low-cost bets? And about Kloffenstein, does he have a real shot at the bullpen, or is he just another body for spring training? Let me know the real deal in the comments.